we're going to talk about the best platforms to market. Whoa, whew. Let's get the show on the road, Bob. I don't even know what vlog number we're on, but I say we just get going. So this is an interesting video for me to shoot today because there's a lot of controversy on this subject. We're going to discuss the way real estate agents used to build their businesses with advertising that used to work versus the way of today, the way real estate agents should be building their businesses with marketing and platforms of today. There is a divide when it comes to how to build your real estate business because there is a group of agents who are hardcore cold callers. They will sit on the phone until somebody says yes, using objection handling techniques and scripts. And then there are agents who say, I'm not going to do that because it's extremely unprofessional and I don't like it when it's done to me. And I don't blame them. Let's face it, who wants to be cold called? Who wants to open their front door and see another salesperson? Nobody. Literally nobody. Maybe the odd crazy person. And it's strange how even the agents that cold call hate it when it's done to them. And here's the thing. Real estate agents years ago, yes, that's how they built their businesses. There was no such thing as internet, no social media platforms, no Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. None of that existed. So they resorted to cold calling, newspaper, commercials on TV. They only had what they had. But we're in 2019 and things have changed a lot. And if you don't move with the change, you're simply going to get left behind. I recommend reading the book, Who Moved My Cheese? You'll know what I'm talking about. So this video is really all about today's platforms versus yesterday's advertising. The one thing I want to make clear is there's a difference between marketing and advertising. Go watch vlog 36. Vlog 36. It's all about real estate marketing. I'm not going to get into that in this video. Advertising is part of marketing, but marketing is not advertising. Advertising used to be done with old school platforms because it's more of a one-way communication. You talk at your prospects. They had no way of communicating back to you. Marketing today is a two-way street, and we use social media platforms to market. Now your prospects have a voice. They can talk back to you if they so choose. So yesterday's advertising is completely different than today's marketing. So I just wanted to set that groundwork up front because I'm going to be using words like marketing and advertising, and there is a difference. So why did real estate agents advertise? To get clients. Why do real estate agents market today? Same reason, to get clients. And the platforms that agents used to use were completely different than the platforms that are available today. So on the left-hand side here, I have past because those are the platforms of the past. And then on the right-hand side, I have present. Those are the platforms of the present. And I want to show you the difference between what used to work and what works today. The other way I can describe marketing or yesterday's advertising is the word bridges. Let's look at it this way. Let's say we're in 1980s. How were you supposed to get a hold of your lead? Or how were you supposed to generate a lead? Well, there was no social media platforms back then, so you could put an ad in the paper, you can cold call, you can door knock, you can have a spot on radio. And those platforms were nothing more than a bridge between you and your prospect. That's the bridge you had to take. Well, with people watching less and less TV, not reading as much of the local newspaper, people hate being cold called, and they certainly hate opening the door when they know it's a salesperson. These bridges are working less and less. So let's look at some of these bridges from the past and today. First one, pretty obvious, newspapers. It was a great bridge for the 1980s and 90s. Radio, another good one. Local TV, that was another big one that agents used to use. outdoor signage, whether it's the side of a bus benches, billboards, cold calling, I already mentioned. And of course, there's door knocking, which is literally face-to-face cold calling. Let's not forget geofarming. Okay, so the big question is, can you still use these to grow your business? The answer, of course, is yes. Yes, you can. But the bigger question here is, at what cost? You can define cost different ways. It's not just financial, but of course that's the obvious one, because things like newspaper, radio, local TV, the cost is going up. And then there's also cost of your mental well-being and things being obsolete. What am I talking about? Well, things like cold calling. People aren't really receptive to being called anymore, or somebody showing up at the front doorstep. It's just not welcomed anymore these days. But agents still do it, and it mentally plays with them, because I hated cold calling, for example, but I had to do it when I started in real estate because that was the only thing available. I'm so glad social media platforms came on scene, because I jumped ship and it got to the point where I literally stopped cold calling. And let's face it, cold calling is kind of becoming obsolete. People are just really getting angry when it's done to them. So you can see when I say at what cost, it's not just financial. So what are today's bridges? What are today's platforms? Let me write some of these down. So for newspaper, I'm going to put down SMP, social media platforms. Of course, the biggest one being Facebook, and majority of your prospects will be on Facebook. However, with the younger generation, they're not on Facebook. They have other social media platforms, whether it's Snapchat or Instagram. Heck, last week my son says, "I'm not on Facebook. I'm not old like you, Dad." So you can see how the younger generation, they will have their own platforms. They don't read the newspapers. They're like this, every day, all day long. And the price of advertising in the local newspaper is only going up, and the reach is only going down. So can you advertise in the local paper? Sure. Now it's not proportional. It's costing too much for the return. Social media platforms, that's the new newspaper. You can get all the news you want online. Radio is now being replaced with a podcast. The downfall to radio is it's extremely pricey, and people have to tune in at that specific time, Saturday morning at 9 a.m. If they don't tune in, they miss the show and they don't know you exist. With a podcast, they can download it, listen to it anytime, and the cost is like almost non-existent. You need a microphone. No, you don't even need a microphone. You could do a podcast with this. You talk into your phone, you record yourself, you upload it to iTunes. It's like $100 a year to get an iTunes license. Let's look at local TV, or just TV in general. YouTube has replaced TV. YouTube is free. How much would it cost you to run a commercial on local TV? Big bucks. And again, is the return on investment there? I don't think so. Outdoor signage, cold calling, door knocking, geofarming, I'm going to lump all that into one, because today, those are all replaced with social media platforms. I know agents still use outdoor signs to advertise. And yes, it's okay for branding, but it's going to cost you a fortune. You can spend a fraction of that and actually generate leads versus just having your face plastered on the side of a bus, for example. The ROI works much better on social media platforms. Cold calling, like I said, at what cost? At what mental cost? Maybe one of the reasons agents do it is because it doesn't cost anything. It's just costing your time. But it's costing you more than that, because you know you hate it, but yet you're doing it. Door knocking, same thing. It doesn't cost anything to go out there and knock on doors, but I know from talking to agents deep down inside, they don't want to be doing that. And the biggest downfall to cold calling and door knocking, if you stop doing that, your business stops as well, because now you're not generating leads. If you get sick, there goes your business. Bye-bye business. It was nice knowing you. So hopefully you can see how yesterday's bridges are completely different than the bridges of today. If you use the local newspaper as the bridge between you and your prospect, they are no longer hanging out on the other side of that bridge. They've moved on to a social media bridge. So you have to jump onto the social media platform. So now you can build that bridge between you and them. Is that making sense? You know, agents always say, why should I do social media? Here's the thing. It's not just for the sake of doing social media. You can't look at social media as just a platform you go hang out in. It's the actual bridge between you and your prospect. If that's where they're hanging out, that's where you should be hanging out. But don't advertise to these people. Create a marketing system that's engaging, that engages your prospect. Give them things of value. Old school marketing in the local newspaper, there was no value. You just put your listings on there, your cheesy 80s feathered or teased hair, cheesy slogan, or your phone number. Like, that's it. There's no value in that. You know, the cool thing about social media, it's a two-way communication platform. And that is the coolest thing. That is the best thing that can ever happen in real estate. If you know how to use it, how to take advantage of today's bridges, you can build your business better than before at a fraction of the cost of a newspaper ad or a TV commercial or a radio commercial. You're in control of your own narrative. I hope this video was helpful, and hopefully I shared something with you about how real estate businesses used to be built in ways that used to be acceptable, and the way real estate businesses are built today using today's bridges. I think I'm done this vlog. I think I've explained it the best I could, being almost 11 o'clock p.m. on a Friday night. Can you believe that I shot this entire video? I put the card into my iPad to edit it, and half of the file was deleted. It was missing, don't know what happened to it. So this is actually my second take at the same video. Hey, but you know what? Who cares? It's not really about that. It's all about you subscribing to this channel and hitting that bell button. And if you enjoyed this video, heck, throw down a like. If you didn't, hit the dislike button if you really want to, but you probably don't want to. All right, so have yourself an awesome day.